Okay. So I wanted to share my journey, almost an 8-year journey, because there were so many things that I learned, so many things that trial and error that just did not work for me. And sometimes when people hear the word celibate, they automatically think of like a religion, they think of Catholic priests, things of that nature. So this is not a Catholic priest situation. Another one I hear when people hear the word celibate, they hear because one of the definitions talks about the unmarried, like there be no marriage in your future. So there are multiple definitions of the word celibate. So for the purpose of this, please know I do desire marriage. I will be getting married one day. Yes, in Jesus' name, I'm claiming it. So when I say celibate, I'm talking about from the perspective of I stopped having sex. I took a complete step back from having a sexual intercourse and really just began to work on me. So there are a lot of things that we deal with that impact who we become. It shapes who we are. And so when we don't address many of those things, we literally take them from relationship to relationship. So for example, I was someone who my dad died when I was like 9 years old. So the absence of a father impacted me and how I sought out men in relationships. And so you don't necessarily realize the connection initially. It wasn't until maybe I would say 5 years ago that I really began to see how much the absence of my father impacted my decision making. It impacted, what I allowed in relationships. It impacted my self-worth, the value I thought, as far as like how I perceived myself, the value I perceived myself to have. So there are so many impacts that happens from just, like your life experiences. And I remember growing up, and there was always this thing that used to be said to me by adults, were like, don't be smiling in men's faces, da 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 da, that whole thing. And that made me very self-conscious, because as a young girl, I did not understand that. So I never really had healthy examples or a healthy interaction of a man and a woman, or a man and a girl, man and a kid, those sorts of things. So it impacted my lens. I used to be someone who was like, nah, I don't think men and women could be friends. That's a lie. That's a myth. There are a lot of myths that came out of my perception and what I began to believe. Yes, men and women can have happy and healthy friendships. I'm talking about friendships, not old boy waiting in the cut, waiting on your man to slip, or old girl waiting in the cut, waiting on your girl to slip so they can slide in. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about platonic friendships. I did not believe that was a thing until I was an adult. Until like just recently, the past few years, I'm like, oh, this is possible. Oh, and it can be healthy. So that goes back to my lens had to be healed. My perception of that thing had to be healed, because I was responding from a place of my experiences and how I grew up. And so everything that happened throughout me growing up and all of those things weren't necessarily adding value. They were hindering me in some areas. So as an adult on my celibacy journey, I had to make this decision, like, I need to heal those places that are broken. I need to heal those places that are skewed, because baby, my husband about to get the best version of me, okay? He's about to get the supreme version of Candace, right? I want to bring my whole self. I want to bring my whole self into my marriage, into my next relationship. I want to be able to interact from a healed place, right? Another thing that was, kind of embedded in me, that literally the Lord had to show me, like, girl, you need to deal with that, was comparison. And comparison breeds a jealousy. So growing up, there was this perception I did get teased a lot for being a darker skin when actually, like, I'm literally gorgeous. Okay, that's a story for another time. But I used to get teased a lot. And so you start to believe some of the things that people say, and that impacts your self-esteem. It impacts the way that you see yourself. And so here you are, an adult, and you're thinking like, you beautiful. But that doesn't mean that there are layers of unhealed matter beneath that. There are some things that had to be dealt with. And so those things begin to come to the surface again. And I'm like, I know I'm beautiful. Like, what is this about? Right? But there was a deeper level. There was a deeper issue there, And so God knew, baby, I don't want to take jealousy into my marriage. I don't want to do that. So that had to come up so that that thing could be dealt with. And so there was work that I had to do as well. Certain things don't just go away just because you have an awareness of it. It was some internal work that had to be done as far as like my confidence. Why the need to compare, right? Why the need to compare? So all of those things. And so that's part of the work that I do in therapy. The work, I am a licensed professional therapist. That's my profession. I love to help women, men, individuals just walk on their journey towards wholeness. But the celibacy piece is very important because removing sex off the table allows you to really see. Like, I'm serious when I say that thing can cloud your judgment. And so when you cannot see, you're making decisions from a skewed vantage point. And we need clarity in this season. I mean, we need clarity always, but especially now, because you will find yourself in that same cycle, dating that same man or woman, different face, but same attributes. And so if you want something different, sometimes you got to bring something different to the table. You have to examine yourself. Are you truly a whole individual? Are there things that are still, kind of lingering? And again, there are times when you don't even realize, like, dang, that's still a root in me. There are roots that have to be dealt with and addressed. So seek a therapist. But part of the reason why I wanted to bring that up, because I'll be sharing just tidbits doing a whole series about my celibacy journey, sharing the things that I've learned. I'm also going to be doing a group coming up soon, a therapeutic group. Is going to be a 10-week course where we're just walking through wholeness, like the things that we have to do to get to where we want to be in life. I don't want to bring a 70% of me to my next relationship. I just don't want to do that. There will be, so all of those things. So I'll be talking more about that. Definitely follow, share to somebody who needs to hear this. This is truly my life's passion, to see people happy, healthy, and whole. So we about to walk this thing out together.